Hey, Satnam, what's going on, everybody? Good to be doing this again. I took last month off and I just got preoccupied with other things. So grateful to be back at it once again. And I hope this serves you. It's an interesting time of year from mystical, more, I don't even want to say mystical, just really for aligning with the rhythms of nature, and we're moving into the winter solstice on the 21st of December, which is very significant because we have been basically from the equinox, the fall equinox back in September, days have been getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And on the 21st, we're going to have the shortest, darkest day of the year. Then after that, we're going to be moving back towards the light, so to speak, as the days get longer and longer. And so, this is a metaphor for the energies that are available both externally in nature, but also within ourselves. And so, really, this is a time where going inward and really um, kind of searching within oneself into those darker nooks and crannies is a really beautiful opportunity for healing. From the Christian perspective, too, this is the time when, Christ was born on Christmas on the 25th of December. And so there is a very auspicious time from a metaphysical, spiritual perspective where this time of year, they say the veil is thinner and we have more access to attuning ourselves with kind of higher vibrations of consciousness. So take that as you will, but hopefully you'll use it in an auspicious way. And I'm going to do the first 2 weeks of the month in this video, and then we'll do the final 2 weeks of the month in a later video. So I'm gonna get into it. I like this month. It's interesting, but I do like it personally, kind of from a selfish reason. So I am a Libra ascendant. That's my rising sign. And Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. And Venus is the key planet of love, of devotion, of harmony, of beauty, of sexuality, sensuality. And this month, Venus is in a really, really, really good position. It has moved from where it was last month in Virgo, where it was what we call debilitated, or it's the weakest position that Venus can be in. It's now moved into Libra, where it is what we call Mula tricona, which means root trine. Mul means root, like Muladhara chakra, or Dash Mul, Ayurvedic formula for 10 roots. Mul means root, and tricona means trine, which is a good position. And Libra is ruled by Venus. So Venus feels really good at home. Libra is an air sign. It's all about idealism, kind of the upliftment of humanity. It's all about relationships, love relationships. And so this whole month, we're going to have Venus in Libra, which is wonderful. And even more wonderful is that Jupiter is giving its very benefic energy. If you watched the video from the other week, Jupiter is the great benefic, it's the great expander. It is the energy of dharma, of prosperity, of service. And Jupiter is sending its gaze over to Venus, and Venus is gazing right back at Jupiter. So we have this beautiful exchange going on that I really like. Jupiter and Venus are considered teachers. Jupiter is the teacher or the priest of the gods, and Venus is the teacher or the priest of the demons, of kind of the darker forces. And so we've got this relationship going on between a lot of wisdom and harmony in our lives. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, what's also pretty interesting, in my opinion, is that we've got Mars down here in Scorpio, where it lives. Mars rules Scorpio. And Scorpio is a water sign. It's all about the mystery. It's all about sexuality. It's all about transformation, especially death, things of really kind of deeper meaning and deeper significance, realization, moksha, as they call it in the Vedic tradition. And Mars is in Scorpio, where it will be for most of the month. So we have this very strong fire energy. Mars is fire. We've got a strong kind of third chakra, will center, power force, kind of our dharma engine in this mystical, transformative sign of Scorpio. What makes it even more interesting is that the sun is right in there with it. These are two very fiery planets. Mars is a fiery planet, and the sun is a fiery planet. The sun also represents consciousness or awareness. So we have this consciousness and this awareness mixed in with this fiery drive in the sign of Scorpio. And so again, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, it's a time of year where really we have this opportunity to tap in to what oftentimes remains hidden or veiled. But it requires a little work, requires a little effort, requires some exploration. So I really like that this time of year. Although this can be a bit of a difficult energy, I won't get too much into it, but um, it does require groundedness. It does require some softening, some devotion, which I feel like we have with the Jupiter and Venus situation. So to me, this energy is a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter, a little bit more devotional, and it kind of smooths out some of this potential for difficulty or kind of intensity. Um, so that's a good combination all around so far. And then beyond that, we've got Mercury hanging out over here in Sagittarius, which I like. Sagittarius is sort of a natural, free-spirited type of an energy. Uh, it's got like an adventuresome sort of energy. And Mercury is sort of a similar energy. And so that's a compatible combination. It's also very good for prosperity, for finances. Mercury does have a lot to do with wealth and money. And Jupiter is affecting this situation, which is good because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So Jupiter is giving its graces not only to Venus this month, but also to Mercury. And so this is a pretty good financial combination, but it does require us to have, again, some groundedness, some focus. We can't be too carefree, too dilly-dally. We got to use our discrimination, which Mercury also has a lot to do with. Maybe focus on only one or two endeavors at a time, not cast our net too wide, but really focus on the things that are most dharmic, that are really most in service to others. How can I help? How can I serve? What are my unique gifts? What are my talents? And really offering it more as a devotion to life itself rather than just a mere financial transaction or exchange for gain. It's really rooted in that deeper truth and service. Then the last thing, just starting off the month, this is kind of a snapshot at the beginning of the month, is we have Saturn still in Aquarius, where it rules. So we've got Venus in Libra that it rules. We've got Mars in Scorpio that it rules. And we've got Saturn in Aquarius where it rules. And, the thing that's a little dicey about this month that we'll see in the first half of the month is that Mars and Saturn are affecting each other. And that's sort of like a very combative, adversarial relationship. Mars and Saturn do not like each other. And Mars and Saturn are two of the most difficult problem-causing planets. They're called malefic, and they're both in their own homes and they're affecting each other. So there is a little bit of this foot on the gas, foot on the brake, sort of confrontational energy that is there. And so that's something, in particular, in one couple days of the month, I'm very present to the need for really being compassionate and kind. Saturn and Mars are not about compassion and kindness. They're about coldness, Saturn, and aggression, Mars. And so there's going to be a point this month where really we're going to need to exercise major compassion, major patience, major, just kind of non-judgment. And of course, these things are going to arise. But just there'll be a period that's a little dicey, in my opinion. So I won't spend too much longer because this is already getting, a little bit long, but I do want to just point out a few quick things that are going to happen as the month unfolds. So as we get into things, okay, so these are the days in particular, December 11th, 12th, and 13th are when I would be a little cautious of one's emotions, communication, own sense of judgments of oneself potentially, because the moon is going to be what we call debilitated on kind of those days. It's in a position of weakness. It's also going to be a new moon, which is a position also of weakness for the moon. And it's right in there with Mars and Scorpio, and Saturn is affecting it. So this is a very sensitive time. The moon represents our emotion, our sense of safety, our feelings of security. So this could be sort of a difficult time. Again, that's basically like, especially the 11th, 12th, and 13th, even part of the 10th. So just be really, again, easy on yourself, easy on others. It'll pass. It's no biggie, but it could bring up some just deep-seated things. So that'll be happening. And then on the 13th, Mercury is going to actually, those days for the moon, I think it's mainly the 10th, 11th, and 12th, not as much the 13th. But on the 13th, Mercury is going to go retrograde, and that will last us through the rest of this month. So Mercury going retrograde, again, can cause technological difficulties, communication difficulties. In this case, even some things related to finances or interests. So again, just be aware of that. And to me, it really just comes back to being grounded in oneself, doing one's practices, and just being clear in communication, in exchanges, as much as one can be. So that's basically the first half of the month. I'll do the second half of the month in another video. But yeah, all in all, we had a really gnarly October. October was just an astrological clusterfuck, an astrological shit show. It was just nuts with eclipses and all kinds of other sort of difficult positionings of things. November brought some good relief. And overall, December to me is pretty positive. There's going to be a really nice, full moon that we'll get at the end of this month that I think is a pretty good one. But again, I really just am focusing on honoring this season, closing out this year, this calendar year, beginning to prepare for the next season, kind of casting the vision ahead, completing, thanking this cycle of what it's had to offer, but then really starting to focus on the next stage of growth and evolution as we move past the winter solstice. So I wish you all so well. If you have any questions about this or your practices, please don't hesitate to reach out. If I can help in any way, let me know. I offered some really good specials as a part of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So if you want to take advantage of those, please let me know. And otherwise, all the best. Satnam.